right, welcome back, everybody, to Sunday night's wonderful world of Generation X. Uh, that 1 hour where we get together each and every Sunday, most Sundays, depends on the Bills' schedule as we go into football, but most Sundays, and talk about all things Generation X. Been kind of off for the summer a little bit, taking some time to go on vacation. Been to some cons the past few weeks, but although I'm running a few minutes late, that's nothing new. But welcome back to the wonderful world of Gen X. Kristen, how are you? Seeing we've got some people jumping in over on YouTube. Doreen, it was so awesome meeting you at the convention over in Tampa Bay. Bridget, hello. Wheels, my buddy, Life, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. So YouTube's filling up fast. Let's see. Got Andrew Bradford, my Gen X Goonie, showing up over on Facebook. Remember, we stream every week both on Facebook and on YouTube. So if you're over on Facebook and it gets laggy, jump over to YouTube. If you're over on YouTube and it gets funny, jump on over to Facebook. Keep both going. That way it makes things a little easier. What's going on? Let's see. Mother of Dragons in the house. Val's Black Cats going on. What's going on, man? Long time no. It's been a minute. Glad to be back, Andrew. Been a summer. Been a good summer. Been a great summer. But I'm back. And everything is going really, really well, except for in the time that we've been away, we lost a lot, right? Kiwi, what's going on, my friend? We lost a lot. We said goodbye to Hulk Hogan. We said goodbye to Ozzy, Malcolm Jamal Warner. So many influences that Gen X had. Now, whether, whatever, however, whenever these people were in real life, that's one thing. But to us as Gen Xers, it's incredible seeing that go on and pass us by. I'm pixelating over on YouTube already. That sucks. Usually YouTube gives me longer. Sorry about that. I got it on full blast. Not much I can do. How are things looking over on Facebook? Hey, Sherry coming in from Florida. It was our youth. And now we're Lonnie Anderson. I talked about her. I posted that the other day. Dude, we're stepping into that next spot, right? We were the kids growing up, and everyone we grew up watching as kids, our elders, got older. And this is where things are going to start to get dicey for us generationally. It's just, we have a saying in Greek that everyone at their time, everyone in their turn. And I think it's especially hard for me when it's someone like Malcolm Jamal Warner, somebody that through the course of an accident went way before his time. Ozzy hurt for sure. Lonnie Anderson hurt for sure. But the best we can hope for out of life, right? Because nobody gets out of this alive is for people to go in their time and their turn. Everyone is jumping in. It'll get better. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, Val, too. It's like YouTube, as people just go and ramp up from 0 to a couple hundred, it gets rough. What's going on, Jeremy Rose? I see you over on Facebook. Good to see you. What else has been going on? I've been doing the circuit. If you guys have a Fan Expo or GalaxyCon, FanCon, those sorts of things in your neighborhood, I'm starting to go and run some panels and be featured even in some of these conventions. So hopefully sooner or later, I'll meet up with a lot of you guys. Laura coming in from Buffalo, go Bills. Chickasaga. What's going on, Bernadine? Good to see you as well, coming in from Texas. Hey, Cindy Buckner, how are you? Record Hound, buddy, how are you? Saw all your event pics. Some of those pics, people are like, well, who's that? You guys got to remember, I'll take pictures with, there's certain celebs that I seek out. These are the people that we grew up watching. Yeah, I just met Carrie Elwes from The Princess Bride, from Robin Hood, Men in Tights, from the original Saw. Lou Ferrigno. I got to shake Lou Ferrigno's hand. That was super cool for me. I got to have like a 20-minute discussion with Nia Vardalos, which I didn't watch in my youth, but being Greek and pairing her up with Joey Fatone, dude, that was amazing. And she started following me. I got to meet with Wes and I got to meet with the kids from Land of the Lost, Wes and Kath, I think it's Catherine, Will and Holly. Dude, that's amazing. And I got to make a video with them. That was incredible. I got to meet Brian, who played Dante on Clerks from my 20s. I loved the Clerks series. I loved everything and all of that stuff. So that's cool. And he follows me. Pretty cool. Where's Wirehead? Not sure. I don't see him over on Facebook. Carla says, miss going to Raleigh. It would have been nice to meet you. Hey, Teresa. Hey, sweetheart. I miss you and Matt. Coming from Newark, New York. Sheesh. That's my old stomping grounds. Good to see you, Carol. I grew up in Wolcott, New York. Not too far from there. Southern Indiana's in the house. The next one that I have scheduled isn't until February. I'm actually featured. If anyone is Northern Texas, Arkansas, Little Rock, Big River, FanCon, I'll actually be featured as a featured guest there. That's coming the first week, I think, in February. They're setting me up with a table. I'm going to be doing some press with John Capados, who played the janitor. Carl from the Breakfast Club. The two of us, two Greek Johns, are going to be making the circuit. So I think that's kind of cool. Good evening, Connie. Hey, Tracy Patterson. Keith coming in from Minneapolis. Good to see you guys. Julie coming in from Northeast Ohio. So yeah, hopefully some of you will be out towards Arkansas. I'll keep pitching that. It's really cool. They're flying me out. They're taking good care of me. So I'd love to see if I can get some of you guys to come out there and spend some time with me. That would be super cool, so to speak. Dan, the breaking news man. What's going on? Kevin, hello. Good to see you, brother. Paso Robles, Ontario, Canada in the house. Keith says he misses Hulk Hogan. Well, dude, that's the only good thing about one of the good things about the era that we live in is they're not gone for us. We can hit play on our phones, on our streaming devices, on our services, and we get back those moments from our youth. If there's definitely a lot of bad stuff to do with social media. There's a lot of bad things that have come along with people staring at screens and all of that, but there's a lot of good that comes with it too. One of this comes with it, which I tend to think is kind of cool. But the fact that we can look back and share our memories from YouTube, from Facebook Reels, from TikToks, wherever you want to find it, that's cool as hell. The fact that I can meet Little Moonfry, Bucky, that Punky from Punky Brewster, and then a week later see that on Instagram she mentioned something about it. That's super cool to me. So they don't have to be gone in our hearts or in our memories. And there's lots of ways we can continue to share those memories. Deborah Mott, hello. Karen coming in from Arkansas. Well, hopefully, Karen, I'll see you in Little Rock in February. Stay tuned. Doing great, Mark. Hello. Thomas Taylor from Ra-Cha-Cha. 585 in the house. There's my mama over on Facebook, Sula Kotrides Sullivan. Hi, Mom. I love you, Mom. I just did a video about you, Mom. I don't know if you saw it. The one night out of all the nights that I spent at home growing up, the one night I decided to sneak out of my room. I made a video asking if Gen X routinely escaped from our homes. Our parents didn't much care where we were during the day. They were working. They expected us to be responsible and do our homework, do our chores, then get out of the house and go do what we wanted to do. But at night, at least I was expected to stay put. And I got to admit, I did. I was a good boy. All but one night. One night I decided to sneak out of the house, and it was the one time that I realized my mom woke up in the middle of the night. Kevin, there's my $2. Kevin playing into the running joke. For those that don't get it, we do a Better Off Dead support system here. I want my $2. If you've never seen the movie, check it out. But in Better Off Dead, hey, Linda Duncan, did not see the email about your birthday. I've been getting slammed on email, and I got to promise to go look, but I haven't yet. But yeah, if you guys want to support, rather than making it a big deal, I always just say $2. $2 is more than enough, and it bulks up. So I want my $2, and Kevin, thank you. But my mom woke up. She woke up, found I was missing in action. She might have been concerned for a moment, but then noticed that I popped the screen off my window, climbed onto the garage down, and off I went. So my mom, not being one to want to lose sleep because she worked in the morning, she just figured she'd climb into my bed and wait. There's $1.99 coming in from Just Jim of all trades, keeping that penny away from me. I love the joke. She laid down in my bed and she went to sleep. And I eventually came home, saw the house was dark, figured I'd gotten away with it. I climbed into bed until I felt her hand clamp onto my arm with the strength only a mother of the 1970s had. Our moms were insanely strong, I believe, because they had to lift up the console televisions to vacuum underneath them. And those things weighed like 643 pounds. But yeah, she beat the tar out of me. I still hear the screaming in my head. But did you guys get away with it? Some people told me they would like even take their cars in the middle of the night. They would like pop them into neutral, roll them down the hill, get in them, take off routinely. What's going on, Katie Jane, a friend from Buffalo, Lori Ann from North Carolina. I tried it once and I got caught and I got beaten. I can't believe how many of you tell me they routinely got away with it though. I don't know. Keith says he's been there, he's done that. Barbara says license to drive. Wirehead joined in. What's going on, brother? I don't know. The one time I did it. Oh, Irish Love coming in from $5. She covered somebody else's subscription fee. There's $2 times 2. Appreciate it, hon. Thanks so much. I don't know. I couldn't do it. What's going on, Vicky? Good to see you. Carlos, hello. TJ, hello from New Zealand, no less. Dude, the death grip was real. She clamped onto me, and I still can feel it. But I don't know. I don't think I even enjoyed the party that night. So we grew up in Wolcott, New York. It was a lake town. We had these things that we called the bluffs, which were these natural sand formations. That's where we had our parties. We would all pull up into an abandoned like field area next to the lake. We'd light a fire. Everybody would show up, and we'd drink. Somebody always brought beer. I didn't go to many of them. Joan says I could walk straight out past my sleeping mom. I couldn't. I finally had to come some sort of agreement where I asked for permission. I bartended at a very young age. My parents owned a restaurant and a bar. And finally my parents said, listen, if at 16, thank you, Kiwi. If at 16, if at 17, I could bartend for my teachers being there, for full-grown adults making asses of themselves. If I was responsible enough to act like an adult at 16, 17, then they trusted me. As long as I didn't drink and drive, as long as I was okay about it, we kind of came to an arrangement. There's no way I could have dealt with the stress of wondering if somebody had woken up back home. Dad worked in a jail, so he had no choice but to be good. Yeah, I can see that. In the dunes of the lake, come with me. It's just, I don't know. I couldn't do it. Jessica, thank you so much. I appreciate it. But those parties were epic. Even when I finally got permission, those were epic. That was just anybody and everybody. You'd see the stoners on one side of the fire. You'd see the jocks and the preppies on the other. Melissa, thank you so much. And that's the whole point. I've had people donate $20 and $50 and upwards of $200. And it always just makes me feel bad. And I just, somebody, I think it might have been Kevin, it might have been somebody, we just made the joke about give me my $2. And we're like, you know what? That's a fun way. If somebody wants to join in, help subscribe, help keep the page going, help pay for trips out and about, that I feel doesn't bother me so much. And I appreciate it. So thank you. TJ says his mother nailed my window shut. I was always told not to do anything stupid. How often did we hear that particular expression? Just don't do anything stupid. Just don't embarrass us. Just don't do anything to ruin our name. My parents didn't have a lot when we were little, struggling to get the restaurant up and running, immigrants working really hard. The one thing they had that if we ruined it for them, that was it. That was like this is the one thing we could do back then to ruin it for our parents. Wirehead. Dude, that's Canadian. I should ask for $2.50. Was ruin our parents' good name. They're like, we don't have a lot, but we've got our name. And that would get me a beating. That would get a spanking. That when we did something stupid after being warned not to do something stupid, and we brought shame upon our family. I don't hear that. I don't see it represented anymore in pop culture. I don't see it represented on TV shows or comedies or movies. But we would see that discussion all the time, where parents would tell their kids, don't do anything stupid, don't embarrass me. It's almost like the embarrassment doesn't fall on the parents anymore. It's up to the kid. Keith, I actually made a t-shirt about that commercial. Keith asked if I remember the commercial. Do you know where your kids are? It's 10 o'clock. Val, thank you so much for that. Yeah, guys, keep smashing that like button if you got it handy. Appreciate it. Kevin throws out that Canada isn't a real country anyway. Well, I'm not going to go that far. When I look at my demographics, I got a real decent Canadian contingent. So love my Maple Leaf fans for sure. Bernadine says, don't do anything I wouldn't do. That wouldn't leave a lot with my parents. My parents were that silent generation. They didn't get to do a lot as kids. Karen says it was 11 o'clock in New York. Yeah, fun fact, that commercial preceded wherever the nightly news was in your town. So if, like me in Rochester and Buffalo, your nightly news came out at 11, then that commercial, it's 11 p.m. Do you know where your children are? For me, I remember Irv Weinstein in Buffalo doing that. Tammy says, my cousin and a friend were staying at our grandparents', and I took off walking one evening to meet the boyfriend of a friend. Grandparents came looking for us. We jumped in a ditch, waited for them to pass, and ran all the way back to the house. I will say that although I didn't do the sneak out of the house thing, before coming to an arrangement with my parents, I did the I'm staying at Brian's house thing. That I did do. And then Brian said he was staying at Jerry's house, and Jerry said he was staying at Marie's house. Marie, thank you so much. Thank you for the $2. That got us up pretty quickly, $15.83. 129 of us. That's what I mean. That I appreciate. That adds up, and I don't feel that anyone's doing more than they can. So thank you, y'all. Jamel, actually, I wish you could have been there. Tampa was awesome. I'm really enjoying these cons as a way to get to meet some of you guys. It's a little pricey. So most of the time, I drove to Tampa so that I wouldn't have to fly again so soon. That was a 9-hour drive there on Friday and then a 9-hour drive back on Sunday. So that was tough, but I wouldn't have missed it for anything. Got to meet Doreen, got to meet some of my favorite celebs, got to sit in, and I did a panel on Jaws. If you haven't seen it, it's posted on both YouTube and Facebook, and I did one on Monty Python that I will post as well. They're long. They were about an hour, but if you're a fan of either Jaws hitting 50 this year or Monty Python hitting 50 this year, check it out. Also, I'm kind of digging the shirt. If you guys like streetwear, it's a little thicker, little boxier. These have just been added to my shop over at genxjono.dashery.com. So if you want to pick up some of the shirts you see me wearing, also a great way to help support the page. Canada, Irish says, you mean South Detroit. I had to look at a map to get that joke. When somebody commented that there was no South Detroit in the Jersey song, somebody else said, well, there is, but it's Canada. And I had to look and realize that, yes, Canada is south of Detroit. Keith said, make sure you're home before the streetlights go on. I grew up in a really small town, Wolcott, New York. It was tiny, tiny. I went to college in Buffalo and lived there a long time, and then later moved back to Rochester. But Wolcott, New York was a really small town. We didn't even have streetlights. For us, it was get home before it gets too dark. And in early August, like now, those last few days of summer vacation, even that rule got rescinded. Joseph Tricoli asked, what do I think of Dean Cain joining ICE? The only thing I would think about Dean Cain is that I watched Superman, Lois, and Clark in my 20s. Him and Terry Hatcher, I loved the show. I loved looking at Terry Hatcher. So I thought that was cool. I remember him on 90210. I had girlfriends that loved that show. We'd watch together when I was a teenager. So that, for me, that's it. When it comes to that stuff, happy birthday, Sherry. When it comes to that stuff, or is it Leo? I don't know whose birthday it is, but happy birthday to somebody. When it comes to people today doing things, listen, Carrie Elwes, huge liberal. He has a very progressive point of view. Okay, that's his opinion. That's the politics he chooses to share. John Cusack, same way. Hulk Hogan was on the other side of it. Dean Cain's on the other side of it. Bo Duke, John Schneider, that I hope to meet someday because I love that show, on the other side of it. What do I think about all of that? I think they have this constitutional right to vote. And they have the First Amendment right to speak their mind. So whether you're De Niro or Schneider, wherever, I don't care. I don't know if that makes me a bad person not caring. I care. I have my own opinions, but I keep it to myself. It doesn't enter into this. That's not what this is. This is an attempt to bring us all together, to say, hey, where do we actually agree no matter what our political views are? And that's where I try to live, because it's more fun. And because I like having friends from all sides of things. Otherwise, I just hear my own opinion reflected back to me, and that's not fun. I hope that's a Gen X thing. Did I get to meet Henry Winkler in Tampa? His line was pretty standard, and then all of a sudden I turned around and looked and he was gone, so I didn't get to meet him. So you did get the proper pronunciation of his last name. Well, I learned quickly, but I didn't ask him. I just assumed you guys were right. My mates are like, you're raising a serial killer because she had the same rules we had. Hey, Ray, how are you? Good to see you. M. Sherry is still 28 today on her birthday. Mark, welcome to the Xers. Thank you so much for joining. Can we agree that the 80s were awesome? Absolutely. Deborah's saying that disappointing that Dean, again, I get it, Deb. I do. But we all make our own choices, I guess. And we can choose to support these people or not based on the opinions they choose to put out there. That's fair. I wish celebrities would be less vocal because that ruins the ability for half the country to enjoy them. I've just decided I'm not going to hate half the country of either side. And I'm pretty much in the middle. If you guys think I'm on your side wherever you happen to be, the answer is I probably am on some things, on many things. Because I can see both sides of things. And long ago, I decided that the only reason anybody would actually disagree with me is they lived a different life than me. And that's okay. Big wheels need to come back. Somebody made an adult-sized big wheel for sale. I got to check it out. 80s had some of the best music. Listen, for me, it was 70s, 80s, and 90s. Yeah, the 50s, I can see how people that are older than us would enjoy that vibe. Too restrictive for me. The 60s, I can definitely see how people would think that was cool. People didn't take showers often enough by the looks of Woodstock and the hippie movement. I'm a big fan of deodorant and showers, and the 60s just seemed dirty. So that would have bothered me a little bit, but I get it. 60s had to be cool. But for me, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, 3 decades that just changed so much from one to the next, that those are and it's my first 30 years of life. But those were the years for me. Thoughts on Mortal Kombat, the game, or is the new movie coming out that I missed? Because I love the game. Jado listened to NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys. I listened to everything because we only really got 2 radio stations, maybe 3. So if something came on, I found a way to at least tolerate it. So I know there's Backstreet Boys song will come on. I'll be able to sing it. Not necessarily, I didn't buy their albums. So we really gauged things back when we were kids, not by what we listened to, because I think we listened to a little bit of everything, but what we bought. What we bought told people what our music really was. So when you think back, for me, it was a shelf. And above my stack stereo that I assembled slowly, lovingly over time, I had a shelf, and on that shelf were all my cassette tapes. And that's the stuff I loved, because that was the stuff I supported by actually paying. Taping songs off the radio, that might be a song I liked enough to want to dodge the DJ and record the song, but not actually spend $20 unless I knew there were at least 3 songs on the album that I wanted. John and Bette Midler songs, That's a running joke from the 3 View Mirror podcast that I'm a part of, which is coming back, by the way, for those constantly asking, second week in September, right after Labor Day. 97 Rock in Buffalo. 97 Rock was awesome. I actually knew a bunch of the DJs. They came to one of the bars that I bartended in that my brother owned. And I'm still Facebook friends with a couple. I loved music from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Absolutely. And it was just like I said, the differentiation is today kids get a Spotify subscription. They get a Apple Music subscription. Maybe. I think that's probably more my age. But they can listen to anything by one subscription. We actually had to put our money where our mouths were and say, you know what? I'm spending $20 and I'm buying that Bon Jovi tape. I'm going to buy that Genesis album. I'm going to buy that Billy Joel Greatest Hits album. And Greatest Hits, by the way, were the best because that meant I got to listen to a lot of good stuff that I like, and it skipped over some of the not so good B-side songs. Although for some artists like Phil Collins that I really liked, some of his B-side stuff that nobody would ever listen to were my favorite songs. Genesis would do that too. Songs that you never have heard if you're not a Genesis fan. Songs that you would never have heard if you're not a Peter Gabriel fan, Billy Joel fan. Those for me are the stuff that the insiders know. If you knew somebody, yeah, I spent Bon Jovi Slippery When Wet. I bought that album. It's funny, I'll do a quiz how much my children know. I do quizzes with the servers that I work with that are younger. I never really bought the singles. I always went for the full-blown tape. My 20-year-old tells me when he was a teenager tells me he wishes he was a teenager in the 90s. I mean, I turned 20 in 1990. My 20s, going through the 90s, going to the bars, I think we hit the height of when bars were fun. There was no other real way to socialize. As guys, if we wanted to meet girls outside of classes, we went out. And there'd be groups of guys, and there'd be groups of girls, and somebody would cross the chasm, walk across the bar, walk across the club floor, and try to make contact. What's going on, Eric? Coming in from Chicagoland. Deborah says, I only know the word, so I want it that way because the fast food place I was working at played it twice an hour. But yeah, the way we had to talk, you girls, I mean, you just had to wait for us to show up. Us guys having to actually have the guts to go and approach you guys. And we all ran in packs. But what's going on? Go Bills. When it came time to want to talk to a girl, you had to go over and talk to her and her friends. Very rarely, if ever, was a girl standing by herself. So us guys had to be brave enough to go across the club floor, maybe offer to buy you a drink if you were sitting at the bar. But we had to be really ready for rejection, which came most of the time. That's why I loved bartending. Behind the bar, I could bypass all of that. I had a built-in excuse to talk to any girl sitting at the bar because I was the bartender. So that made it easy. But I don't know if kids today could comfortably do the things we did in order to meet the people we wanted to meet. It's anxiety filled. It's lots of possibility of rejection. Here it's just swipe right or swipe left. The rejection is bypassed. Painters paint, musicians make songs, actors pretend to be someone else. Glad you don't get political. Rational Gen X mentality. Listen, if we go get a beer and you want to talk politics, I can promise you two things. Number one, I won't speak on anything I'm not versed on, right? I don't like to speak out of my ass. If I'm going to talk, I'm going to have at least a rudimentary understanding of what it is I'm talking about. Because I was told all my life growing up, don't talk out your ass. And then number two, if you disagree with the amazingly intelligent, coherent, logical argument I've just made, I'll buy you the next beer and I don't care. You'll probably say something that'll ring true in my head and I'll be like, wow, I didn't think of it that way. And therein lies the coolness of talking to people you don't agree with because you might learn something. So, Linda, I saw, man, the comments are flying. What woman in her right mind would turn you down? Oh, sweetheart, the list is long and undistinguished. But I finally got it right. Coming in from Auburn, New York. What's going on? Home of what I used to call the Finger Lakes Mall. Closest mall I had to me growing up. So I grew up in a small town. If we wanted to go to the mall, before we could drive, we had to bribe somebody to drive us the 25, 30 minutes to the Auburn Mall, Finger Lakes Mall. What's going on, Bill? Good to see you. I was always and still to this day at 52 still scared of women. Rightly so, but I think my ability to talk to women jumped to next level when I realized that the dumbest woman on the face of the planet, you find her, you scour the earth, and you find the dumbest woman that exists on this planet, and I'll bet you dollars to whatever, that she's probably still smarter than the smartest man on the planet in a lot of ways. Women just have an emotional intelligence, a certain type of intelligence. We're just simple creatures. Us men, I don't care. I finally learned to admit it. I tell my wife that I am wrong early and often because odds are half dollars to donuts. There it is, Kristen. After the fight, I've been married over 20 years now. Once the fight is over and like I get to think about it, I'm like, wow, I was wrong. So now I just cut to the chase. She's right. She's smarter. And I think most women tend to be. Christy says, guys today expect women to buy them drinks. I'm old fashioned. I couldn't imagine that. But I've got 2 daughters. I guess if they came to me and said they wanted to buy a guy a drink and they have every right to do so because they're women and they're strong women and I guess I could agree to that. I just don't, it's a little strange to me, but here's the deal. I do tell my daughters, my oldest is 21. I tell her don't ever accept a drink from a man unless you want him to come over and talk to you. And she's like, well, why can't I just take the drink? He offered it to me. I go, yeah, but it comes with strings. He's just not randomly buying girls sitting at the bar drinks. He wants, at the very least, to come talk to you. And as a bartender, I'm sorry if you women took the drink, I get it. It's a free drink. Not hating on you. But I'm just saying, way too often bartending, I would see women accept a drink from a guy. He would then try to make his way over and they'd be like giving me the help me eyes. Can you get rid of this guy? I don't want him sitting here. And I'm like, well, the easiest way to get him to not sit there is not take his drink. Say thank you, but no. But I get it. Katie says it would have taken 20 minutes to do what? Drive to the mall? That's what it was for me, sort of. Tina, I think, said that she's glad we don't talk politics. Yeah, it's divisive. Let's not be divisive. Thinking of Al Pacino and Heat about asses. Favorite movie from the 80s? Princess Bride definitely one, but the list is long. I throw them into genres. If you're talking coming of age movies, Breakfast Club. If you're talking lighthearted fun, Day in the Life of Kevin, I love it. That was 90s though, I think. Then it's probably Ferris Bueller's Day Off. If you're talking, made me just like goosebumps and I thought it was awesome, probably something, no worries, Linda, probably something like Field of Dreams. Was that still in the 80s? Stand By Me, which just turned, I think, 39 years old this week. Absolutely one of my favorites. Goonies, for sure. Absolutely one of my favorites. Oh, 20 minutes to get some alcohol. I gotcha. Last Starfighter was good. The deacon at my church is male and told me all men are pigs. I told him no, and I don't believe John is either. I don't believe all men are pigs. My daughter asked me if she thought that there were good guys out there. I said, yeah, I do. I really, listen, there's good people everywhere. I think most people will tell you who they are pretty early in. You just have to pay attention and listen. Very rarely does the sheep come in wolf's clothing. Or the wolf come in sheep's clothing. That's the one. They let you know who they are. You just have to listen. I had a lot of girl friends in school. The girls would come crying to. All the while having huge crushes on them. But it's just, that's the way it was. I wasn't that guy. I was the good guy. I was the nice guy. So they'd come crying to me. Oh, thank you. How you laughed when Will imitated the raft, without a doubt. But yeah, they would cry about their boyfriends who were total douches from the first day they met. And it would be frustrating. I miss hanging out at the mall. Most of them are shutting down. They do pretty well here in the South. Spare copy of Stand By Me soundtrack LP. Maybe John needs it on display. Oh, I'd love that, Record Hound. Scary movies. Loved Nightmare on Elm Street because I think it was a smart scary movie. It's the same reason I loved Plane Goes Down, Log Truck, Final Destination. I like smart scary movies. I had a wonderful time in Greece. Thank you so much for asking. Chucky was all right, but that fell apart. I don't think that's a smart, scary movie because I just would have kicked the thing into a wood chipper and that would have been the end of it. But, I love that Nightmare on Elm Street came at you in your dreams. It was kind of smart. The way that they would dream warriors, like, well, if it's my dream and I'm running it, all of a sudden I'm Superman. Because I thought that the very first movie, and they actually tried that, and it didn't work, so that was good. Maddie, what's going on, brother? Miss you. I was the female version of you. The guy's asking how to talk to a girl. Being friend zone sucked. Yeah, it sucked, but at least it had more longevity to it. When I talk to my kids, I'm like, most of the friends you have in your life right now in your 20s, if they're real friends, you stand a pretty good chance of still at least knowing them in your 30s and beyond. But a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you make at 20, 21, 22. Unless you find a way to become friends, probably not so much. Shining, Final Destination, Poltergeist. Add to that list. I like Amityville Horror. Dokken was in Dream Warriors. Absolutely. I forgot that. Good call. Hellraiser. I like that. That was smart. Good lines. Good writing. Pretty creepy. Pins in the face. Can't go wrong. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Very good. I agree. Coming to America. Porky's. It was for what it was. It was good. I also liked in the 90s, like the offbeat ones, the date movies that were really good. If you've never seen Man in the Moon, which was an early Reese Witherspoon movie, really good date movie. Kind of like a lot of movies in the 90s. The 90s had that whole Thomas J. can't see without his glasses vibe, where there's an unexpected death that comes and kicks you in the last remaining feeling you've got. This had one of those too, but it was good. Friend Zone guys from the 90s are great guys now if they're still alive. Well, I hope they would be. It was only 10 years ago, 30 years ago. Yes, Beaches. Beaches, I will defend myself on this. It's not like I loved the movie. It's not like I said, hey, what am I doing on a random Friday night? Let me go see Bette Midler in a heartfelt, warm movie about two girls. However, I got dragged to it by a girlfriend. And upon seeing it, my thought process was like, why would women subject themselves to a movie like this on purpose? It was gut-wrenchingly painful. It was on the same vein as like Steel Magnolias. Why do you women do this to yourselves? These are not feel-good movies. They're the human equivalent of a snuff film. They take the kindest, gentlest, nicest person in the movie and take them out. It was horrible. But Bette Midler has an amazing voice, and when she sang Wind Beneath My Wings, and I've got a lump in my throat the size of the Rock of Gibraltar, Sir Racer, dude, thank you, my friend. It's hard. I'm like, why? But you know, if you've never seen it, an amazing performance by Bialik, by the Big Bang Theory Blossom. She plays a young Bette Midler and is just like her. You would think it was her from back in time. Barbara Hershey, and it's a good movie. I can't believe I've talked for 5 minutes now on Beaches. But once and only once, that's enough. Never again. It's gut-wrenchingly painful. Outsiders. My best friend Matt got me a movie poster. It's up there. I've got Outsiders and I've got Stand By Me. Two of my all-time favorites. We could never, by the way, have a movie like The Outsider ever made again. Think about who was in it. Just think how much that would cost to pay the salaries of a Patrick Swayze, Tom Cruise, Rob Lowe, C. Thomas Howell, Ralph Macchio. The list goes on and on and on. Awesome movie, amazing cast. For the Boys made me cry my eyes out too. I don't like crying in movies. I'm a gentle soul. I cry easily. I'm a girl dad. I have two girls. I've always been kind of soft. I don't mind admitting it. But yes, I saw For the Boys too. Also, the scene where they're in Vietnam, they're just shooting everybody. Not good. Carlos, we talked a little bit about Hulk and Ozzy, just 80s era icons. In the case of Ozzy, an always era icon. I think Ozzy will continue to be remembered as a changing force in rock and roll and pop culture forever. I'll be shocked. In my lifetime, I don't think we'll stop hearing about Ozzy. I do remember Batteries Not Included. I saw they're remaking War of the Roses, Katie. I wasn't sure if that's what it was because it's just called The Roses. But I could tell by the commercial that it might be. That was a great movie. USA Up All Night. Legends of the Fall. Really, Kristen? Really? Did you really like that movie, or did you just like seeing Brad Pitt with really good hair? Because I thought that movie was god-awful. The female, the woman, the female lead in that movie tore that family apart. She was the villain in that movie. They were all great before she came along, and she ripped that family to shreds. Elvira was epic. She was even on Last Man Standing. I didn't know that. Any John Candy movies I can probably recite by heart. Interview with a Vampire was good. Did you know that the Christian Slater part of that movie was intended for River Phoenix, actually, but obviously they needed to find a replacement, and it went from River to Christian Slater. Flowers in the Attic. The Flowers in the Attic books, dude. That's what we grew up with. If you wonder why Gen X is the way Gen X, well, it's because we grew up reading books like The Shining, Flowers in the Attic, watching our mothers watch soap operas like General Hospital, where the greatest couple on the face of the planet, the all-star soap opera wedding of a generation, Luke and Laura, started as an essay, I think, in the disco parking lot. He assaulted her and she fell in love. I mean, it's just wrong on so many levels. And yet we're normal somehow, mostly, kind of, I think. Roadhouse. I just used a Roadhouse clip in an email. Where'd that come from? I just used I think I just had a stroke. I just used the Roadhouse clip in a video. What's going on, Christine Egan? Good to see you. Christian Slater looks amazing for his age. Well, I think he's one of us, right? I mean, look at this skin. This is Gen X. My hair's a mess, but come on. Dude, we don't age much. Bo and Hope. I actually used that in a video. I said you'd make choices in life. Is it Bo and Hope or Luke and Laura? People split right down the middle. Yeah, Slater's Gen X, I figured. WCMF. 96.5, right? Hated soap operas. The thing about soap operas, I remember they would only be during summers if it was raining, right? If I came home and mom was watching it, she used to get home from work at some point. Once things started slowing down, the restaurant started doing better. We got help. She only worked mornings, so she'd be home by like 2. And I remember General Hospital started at 3. So she would watch One Life to Live and then General Hospital, I think. I don't know. But in summers, if it was raining out, it'd be on. If I was homesick, it'd be on. And you only had to watch a soap opera once every 2 or 3 months. And the plot lines would move so amazingly slow that you could keep up. So I'd watch, and then I'd watch again 3 months later. And I'm like, wait, is she still has amnesia from getting hit in the head? Is this still the evil twin that took her out? Same plot lines. Carl Russo just retired from 97 Rock. I saw that. I follow their page on Facebook. Can you use Robin Hitchcock and the Egyptians in a music video you do? I have to look that up. I don't know. All My Children, yeah, so it was All My Children, One Life to Live, and General Hospital. My mom was an ABC soap opera person. So those were the 3. I just don't remember the order. I think you're right. I think it was One Life to Live at 1, All My Children at 2, General Hospital at 3, Memories I Have No Business Remembering at 4. Don't know why I even remember that. WKRP was an 80s show. It certainly was. It's an awesome 80s show. One of my favorite 80s shows. Honor of Lonnie Anderson. Let's get this right. Actually, do you guys know? Hey, Carol Pack, thank you for joining the page and subscribing to the Gen X Avengers. Did you guys know that they made another WKRP? I think it was in the 90s. I had no idea. I was just looking up some stuff on Lonnie Anderson and came across the fact that they remade it. I had no clue. This guy's my witness. I thought turkeys could fly. 30 minutes from WKRP. That's very cool. Do I remember Night Court? I do. Fuck that. Play Billy Joel. I love Billy Joel. Evening soaps like Dallas and Dynasty was a big deal. I remember all the plot lines. You got to understand, first generation Gen X. That looks good on me. Parents immigrated from Greece. Their English was good. They worked hard to learn all that good stuff. But sometimes in like television shows where they were talk fast, my parents would miss things. So they always had one of us kids watching inappropriate television with them just so that we could interpret what had happened. So I remember all the plot lines from Dynasty, from Dallas, from Knots Landing, from The Winery, Falcon Crest, all of it. My mom was a junkie, and I watched all of it with her and made it work. Dark Shadows? I never saw Dark Shadows. So Racer Dude, thank you again, man. You guys are pushing us towards over $67 now. Guys, I appreciate you guys. Racer Dude, I know you don't like being called out or thanked publicly. You just do what you do. But thank you. Paper Dolls, I remember that was Morgan Fairchild, if I'm remembering correctly. So I remember that one too. MASH, my parents didn't get into. So again, Gen Xers, right? How many TVs in the house when we were growing up? When we were really little, the only real TV worth watching was the then 20-something inch monstrosity in the living room. Later on, I got older, black and white, 13-inch Emerson in the bedroom. But for the most part, one TV. So if our parents weren't watching it, I wasn't watching it, and they weren't watching MASH. They were pretty cool, though. They would let us watch what we wanted to watch from time to time. That's how we got to watch Dukes of Hazzard. That's how we got to watch Knight Rider, Greatest American Hero, Incredible Hulk. Mom and Dad would be talking in the kitchen after dinner, and we got that little window of time at 8 and 9 o'clock before adult programming started that they let us have. So it's the 8 and 9 o'clock stuff that was ours. When am I coming to PA? I was trying to get to Pittsburgh this weekend for the Steel City Con, but it didn't work out with the event planners there. I reached out to them a number of times. If you guys really would love to see me somewhere nearby, send me an email at genxjono80@gmail.com. Also, honestly, if you guys want to, if you guys love what we talk about and want to see me on a panel close to you, reach out to the people at the convention you're thinking about. Say, hey, could you reach out and get this guy? That would help a lot. Red Dawn anniversary is today or yesterday. Lots of great things about Red Dawn. I mean, we have Patrick Swayze and Baby, what the hell is her name, getting together. I am the last of the finest, born in the year of our Lord 1980, coming in. 1980 Xer. Love it. Jennifer Grey. Thank you for bringing my childhood back to memories of 80s. Rock, Mork, and Mindy. Where do I find the stuff from the 80s? I collect a lot of it. I make a lot of it. Like I made this. It's available at genxjono.dashery.com. A lot of stuff I liked I couldn't find. So I designed it and I found somebody and I make it. Also, I've got a friend of mine that I'm going to do a video. He makes a lot of the stuff for me. The hoverboard you can see here, he made for me. Just recently, we met up in Tampa, and he made this companion hoverboard for me. So now I not only have Marty's, but I also have Biff's. So I've got both hoverboards now. So my collection is complete, and I think it's pretty damn cool. So a mixture of different things. Some of the stuff I buy, some of the stuff I make, some of the stuff gets sent to me, gifted to me. There's a lot of cool, wonderful people out in the world. And I am beyond lucky. Yeah. So pretty cool. Ever going to be in the Triad area, John? I was just in Raleigh, if you mean that Triad. So I was there for GalaxyCon. I try to publicize it. I also put it genxjono.com has a calendar of events that I put things on. So you can always check there as well. Tony Randall, Jack Klugman. I remember The Odd Couple. I loved that. Love to get to KC someday, Cindy. Definitely. Tampa was last weekend, weekend before I was in Raleigh. Sorry. Dude, 3 weeks in Greece. I get home, I land, I unpack a suitcase, I throw an overnight bag together. I drive to Raleigh. I'm in Raleigh for 3 days. I come home. I do Gen X trivia live on Tuesday. I bartend Wednesday and Thursday. I drive to Tampa on Friday. It's been crazy. Tron, when it first, please go back and fix shit. Fix what? What did I do? Except that I'm throwing things after I'm done with them. That's not good. There. Cleveland, again, I only know what I'm told about. If you guys see something, email me. Email them. Let me know. This is what I now do. I bartend a couple nights a week to keep my sanity, to make sure I'm not just staring at an image of my own blue eyes looking me back in the face, to actually be with people. But because most of what I do is online, and this is what generates income for me, I can go out. I love being on the road. At any weekend and every weekend, I'm more than welcome to travel. It just, number one, it needs to financially make sense, and that's why I go live. That's why Linda, for instance, helps me out. Where's my swimsuit edition? Do you really? I don't. You don't want to see this in a swimsuit. It looks so good in a t-shirt because in a t-shirt, like the t-shirt comes with the muscles in them. It just looks good. But when the t-shirts come off, sometimes the muscles do too. So this is, trust me, at 55, this is a much better look. Linda would pay big money. Little Rascals, Bobcat Goldthwait, and Police Academy. Um, I have a brother opening out there. Let me know. I must have missed the beginning of that, Katie. Brother opening. Sorry, I missed the. There's a lot. Green Bay for a game sometime. I would love to see Lambeau Field. Do you know MTV went back to play video during the day all? Oh, I did. Yes, MTV did a 24-hour thing where they would go back and they played all videos because the anniversary of MTV had just happened. That was last week. So they did take a day and they went back to just playing videos for 24 hours. I watched a bunch of it. There was a classic MTV channel for a while too that just played videos. I was going to bring it back. But for me, it's going to have to be 80s and 90s videos. It's not today's videos that I really would want to see. Although, I'll be honest, I need to be exposed to today's music. I wish Casey Kasem was still on the radio doing his top 40. I would listen once a week, but I'm afraid that all the songs would sound the same. The music just doesn't have the diversity that it used to. I don't think. I don't know. We'll see. Jessica, I love the Dukes of Hazzard. Dale coming in from Indiana. David, one of our older extras from 68. If you ever make it to Montana, we'd love to see you. Like I said, right now, definitely going back to Orlando in February for MegaCon. So that's a definite. I'm definitely going to be in Arkansas, Little Rock, February 5th and 6th and 7th, I think is the dates. Again, you can find it on my calendar of events at genxjono.com. That's a big one. That they're actually featuring me as a guest of honor. God, I don't know why. But if I could get, if there is a place, if you guys are contemplating being like, you know what? I want to take a weekend. I want to go out and meet some of the people that follow this guy. I want to see him in person. I want to sit and listen to a panel. I want to hear him talk in person. If any of that makes sense to you guys, Arkansas is the place. And it's a small convention, probably why I'm being featured. I'm not competing against these huge, celebs and stuff, but that's the one at this point. Oh, cool, Yvonne. Yeah, I love MegaCon. That's one just I enjoy. I'm going to try to see if I can get on some panels. Dude, I got to get to Wrigley. Although, what the hell's happened with our Cubbies? Soon as we get halfway through the season, man, it is a joke. Am I a Panthers fan? No, unfortunately, Sherry. I'm a lifelong. I bleed red and blue Bills. Been a Bills fan all my life. Been in Charlotte for about 10 years, 9 years, but I was a Western New Yorker for life. I don't hate them. Rob Peters saying, greetings from outside of New York City, formerly of Clyde, Rose. Yeah, I'm admitting it. Dude, I'm an NRW graduate. I admit it. I love Nirvana. Very cool, Jessica. I miss the old commercials. I do content relevant to commercials constantly because I love them too. I like the slogans. I like the jingles. I loved all that stuff. Let me know the dates in February. I will. They don't have it solidified yet, so I don't have it solidified yet, but I know MegaCon will be in February, I think. Stacy says my dad initially hated they got lights. Later, he thought it was okay. When am I coming back to Buffalo, Joan? I will let you know, but we're probably shooting for maybe the first week in October. But if we do Buffalo, we're going to do a Gen X bar crawl. We are going to do the things we did in our 20s again. We're going to hit the bars. We're going to hit Duff's. We're going to get some wings. We're going to drink some beer. We're going to walk up and down Elmwood Avenue. We're going to hit Chippewa to annoy some kids. So if you are in Rochester, if you are in Buffalo, if you're in Syracuse, if you're in Erie, PA, if you're anywhere close, keep watching and join me in Buffalo. Because that's not an event. That is an experience. That is just all of us going out and having a good time. And you know what? The bars are empty. The kids do not go out the way we went out. So we're going to go out. Do whatever it is you've got to do to make sure you'll survive. But let's go. Never been to Cedar Point in Ohio, Dan. That sounds like fun. Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah, without a doubt, I'm going to get out there at some point. Timmy, what's going on, sweetheart? Good to see you. Miss you. Do I know where in Orlando? Yeah, it's there's the convention center there. That's where they have it every year. What do we got for time? Today's flying by. Is it almost 9-ish? Oh, it's 9:05. Well, we got on late. We can go a little later. Please mention you. What's going on, Blades? Good to see you too. Donald, hello. Wirehead, Cedars Point in Bablo Island were summer regulars in the 80s. Biceps for Linda. I didn't pump today. So they'd be disappointing. You gotta catch me on a day when I've had a workout, because then the blood's then maybe something will be there. Not. Marineland in Niagara Falls is no more. Yeah, not really surprised. That kind of went by the wayside. Animal cruelty and all that. What state am I in? Currently in South Carolina, a stone's throw away from North Carolina, literally. 20 minutes south of Charlotte. Where did I get the hat? I actually designed it. It's available as a hat, as a t-shirt, as shorts. genxjano.dashery, DASHERY.com. You can find it in my link tree. Birmingham, Alabama, I'm not sure. You're not going to be able to keep up like you used to. Lynn, you know what, guys? I disagree. So we went out to Buffalo last year. I drank beer after beer after beer. We did shots of Crown Royal because that used to be our shot of choice in our 20s when we were going to Buffalo. I did it on Thursday, did it on Friday, did it on Saturday. Woke up Sunday, went to a preseason's Bill game, had beers at the Bills game. Drank all day Sunday, flew back Monday. Dude, I don't know. Those of you who follow me saw I did a live from Buffalo. You can still see some videos going back a year because it was close to this time that we did it. Dude, I don't know where, how, why, but God smiled upon me. No hangover. And I did more than a few shots. You would be surprised what you can still do. Not every day. You'd be a loser if you did it every day. Sorry to the losers that are doing it every day. I don't know, not meaning to judge, but you'd be surprised. The people that texted me and said, "Hey, we'd love to come out, but it's after 8. We don't do anything after 8." Dude, we're not 70. My mom's 80-ish. Just I'm not allowed to give her age. 78, 76, 60. Sorry, I take it all back. My mom's 42, but she still goes out. We can still go out. You'd be surprised what you can do. They still do soft beers for kids in New York. Tracy coming back with Where's Beef? I already made the donuts. Hey, Warren, what's going on? So sad that some of my fellow classmates from high school are... Dude, I get it. And due to the economy, there's been... Listen, we're Gen X. I've seen the economy go up and down and sideways a million different times. I've cashed out entire 401ks just to pay the rent or just to pay the mortgage or just to pay the doctor bill. I'm of a mind that I'm sorry. I don't see very much new on the horizon. We've seen World War III. We've done it. We've seen terror. We've seen war in the Middle East. We've seen Russia come at us. We've seen it. Um, Sometimes I think we're all in the Matrix, and sometimes they just play it on a loop. I don't know. I'm 55 years old. Most of the cultural reference think you would go down well in New Zealand, but our cities and towns are smaller. Dude, I get so many people from New Zealand for some reason that watch me. That's awesome. I would love to come out to New Zealand. But the point I was making before is I hope people will always reach out for help when they need it. We grew up as a generation that realized we could talk to our friends, that we could let down our guard for a generation that has one feeling left on any good day. We were really good about recognizing when we actually needed help. Now, being Gen X, that wasn't often, right? We didn't really need help that often. We were very self-sufficient. But when we needed help, we knew who to call, who to lean on, who to get that help from. And I hope people remember that. Yeah, I know, Carlos. I'm one of those parents that don't like it when school starts again. I like having my munchkin home. 56 ready for the bar crawl. Dude, that's what I'm talking about. It's going to be awesome. Australia would be an amazing trip. Oh, dude, that's the best. You helped me with my mental health. Thank you. Dude, we're all here for each other. Take somebody who is diametrically opposed to every belief you have, and if you meet them openly and honestly, I honestly believe, especially if they're a Gen Xer, they'll be there for you. We are a special breed of kids that, because of circumstance, raised ourselves together. Can't leave kids at home alone today, nor should you necessarily. But you can't. There's laws. There's daycare. There's wraparound daycare before school, after school. They got this. They got your kid. Costs an arm and a leg, but you can't leave kids home alone. And before us, they didn't need to. Mom was at home, right? Statistically speaking, love my boomers. I love my boomers that are like us too. Great, that's awesome. That's not statistically the norm. The norm was that mom was home from those years. Unless you're a really young boomer, mom was home. It was just us. It was just us. We raised ourselves. We were home alone before Home Alone, but we were home alone together. And that's cool. Yeah, you can, as long as they're 13. Legally, sure. We were left home alone long before 13. So you made my point for me. No worries on that, Tracy. I'm sure he knows. Deborah says, I'm sick of war. Vietnam ended, and then there's the Cold War and Operation. There will always be war. We are imperfect beings, and there's a lot of money in war. So there'll always be war. And somebody's always going to have what somebody else wants. And somebody else always going to want to take what somebody else has that they want. Hence, war. Friends in the Army said today kids are soft. Yeah, kids are softer today, and we were softer than our parents. Joan says I can still close a bar. I agree. We were softer than I'll speak for myself. I was softer than my parents. My kids are softer than me. But if soft went down like stairs, one step at a time, greatest gen, silent gen, baby boomers, Gen X. Yeah. We know why. Social media, things got easy. Answers are readily available. Parents helicoptering a little bit. Laws changing, social norms changing. But I will say what I always say. Life doesn't care how soft our kids are. If whatever it is that's keeping them soft goes bye-bye, we pass on, we move on, we don't have the ability to be their safety net, whatever it is, when whatever's making them soft goes away, and it will, life is an unfair and impartial teacher. They will stop getting soft in a real hurry. They just will. We were the slacker generation in our parents' eyes, and now we have a work ethic that I think is second to no other generation. We are the most entrepreneurial generation by the numbers. These are statistics. So when life gets hard, people get moving. It'll happen. When life gets easier, people get softer. Life gets hard, people get hard. There it is. Couldn't have said it better myself. Constant cycle. Agreed, graphics. WKRP, Goonies. Everyone is too damn Sue happy nowadays. Yeah, that started in the 80s, though. I mean, LA Law was a show for a reason. O'Donna says I didn't even have a proper lanyard for my house key, just a green string around my neck. We never locked our doors really, but I do remember that it kind of became a thing to lock doors for a while. My mom realized it would probably be a good idea, but by then I had Ruse. Does anybody remember the Kangaroos sneakers? They were the only like brand name. Oh, thank you, Sheila. I've never gotten a gift before. That was cool. I don't know what that is. But they're the only brand new sneakers that I had that were brand sneakers that my parents bought for me. I eventually got a job and bought my own sneakers. That's when I got my Sambas. That's when I got my Nikes. But they bought the Ruse for me because of the little pocket. And I just kept the key in the little pocket. LA says locking doors? What's that? Yeah, we did it for a while. I firmly believe every newly minted adult should be required to live single for a year so they can learn to take care of themselves. Andrew Murdoch says, I was softer than my grandfather, smoked pack a day from 12 to 77, stopped with emphysema, and still farmed till 85, lasted to 89. God bless him. Do you think today's kids could handle walking to the nearest payphone to place a call? If they had to. If they had to. The had to's not there. We had the had to. Do you think I enjoyed talking to Rochelle Campbell's dad? I mean, Dick, if you're watching, I'm not calling him a Dick. That was his name. Mr. Campbell, sir. You're a great guy, but you were intimidating as hell. So when I called and wanted to talk to Shelly, I didn't want to go through him, but I didn't have her snap. I couldn't text her directly. I couldn't DM her. I couldn't get her on AOL Instant Messenger or Yahoo Messenger. Those things had not yet been invented. So we didn't want to, we had to. I had to pick up the phone. So I've got it here somewhere. And say, hey, Mr. Campbell, hello, this is Johnny Kotrides calling. Would it possibly be okay if I talked to Rochelle for a few minutes? And then he'd ask why. And I'm like, just had a couple questions about our homework assignment today. And he'd know I was lying. I liked his daughter. I wanted to talk to her. But because I was polite, because I had phone manners, because I introduced myself, because I didn't just call and say, hey, is Shelly there? Because I didn't call between 5 and 7 p.m., because I didn't call after 9, because I knew all of these rules, I got to talk to her. That's a video. Yeah, I didn't want to do that. I had to do all that. Still with the sir. Absolutely still with the sir. Stunned my daughter's college teacher. A video I took inside a collapsed building on 9/11. That's crazy. I still remember those days. Hey, I called the girl's dad to take her to the prom. I was scared to death. Yeah, Warren. You didn't want to. You had to. Couldn't call my friends after 8. Or there was the trick, right? Like your friend would say, call me at 10 o'clock. And I'm like, I'm not calling you at 10 o'clock. Your dad will rip my throat out and rip my heart out of my chest and show it to me. And he's like, no, it's okay. Call me at 10 o'clock. I'll turn the ringers off on my phone. Or you would tell your friends, call me at 11. It's okay. My parents will be asleep. And you would turn the ringer off on the phone. And then sometimes we'd forget. And then grandma would die. And then Aunt Shirley would be like, I've been calling 1,000 times to let you know grandma was dying. And nobody picked up the phone. And you realize, shit, I forgot to turn the ringer back on. Pretty hard, tough characters as role models, for sure. Literally thought the live was over until John said, thank you, Sheila. Oh, that's funny, Sheila. We couldn't turn the ringer off on our phone. You sure you can just go underneath? There's a little thing you could turn. Or you could take the clapper off. It was the old one that would hit the bell. There was a way. I'm telling you. Good to see you, Sheila. Really good to see you. It's been a while. I set the clocks back. Whoa. Thank you, somebody, for something over on Facebook. I don't know what it was. Bill Connors became a follower. Richard Wegman, thank you for becoming a follower. Sheila, Terry, Isadora, Stacy, Tina, thank you for 20 stars. Tidra, thank you for becoming a follower. Rodney, Ronnie, Rennie, Jason, Jenny. Holy moly, I didn't realize there's so many. Appreciate all you guys. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Having to deal with the busy signal. Dude, we didn't remember dealing with the busy signal. The best thing about You could call and lie to the operator. You could call and be like, "Hello, operator. I'm trying to get through to my house, and I keep getting a busy signal, and I'm wondering if the phone's off the hook. Would you be able to break into the line and check? And if at all possible, let them know that Johnny's trying to call and have them release the line." And if you could convince the operator that it was an emergency, and she had to know it wasn't, because why is it always a 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old kid calling home with emergencies? But she took pity on us more often than not, and she would break in. And sometimes it would be your friend on the phone, and sometimes it would be a friend's parents on the phone. And they didn't look favorably about the fact that you broke into their call. But thank you. Steve says, "I love your stuff in your shop." Dude, thank you. I designed every single thing in there, pretty much. I had one of those clear phones that would light up when it rang, even with the ringer off. Well, that's good. That's how you would know. We would have to time it. I said I would call at 10. They'd pick up the phone right at 10. Oh my God, you are bringing back so many memories. That's the idea. That's what we do here. That's what makes me happy. That is my favorite comment to see. Only drawback to landlines when you butt dial someone and then you're stuck with a blocked line. My sisters kept the phone tied up from 5 to 7. We only had one phone line in the house. So the rules were pretty strict. Plus, we're boys. Well, the idea is that boys, the general consensus is that boys talked less on the phone, but we talked pretty good on the phone too. I think that's a misnomer. I'd get on the phone with my friends and talk for a while. Large pile of leaves to spy on my sister and her date. Did I read that wrong? Dude, 8482 is the total so far on YouTube. Thank you guys so much. Cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. Not doing lives. Well, and there's Sheila coming in with the $2. Thank you so much. I remember calling time all the time. Dude, the phone was our literal landline. You couldn't always talk to your friends during school, right? We had lunch, we had study halls. But it was after school that the drama seemed to happen, and it's not like you could go on your friend's Snapchat or Instagram page to find out what's going on. Yeah, and there were all these phone calls happening at the same time. Jenny was talking to Julie, and Steve was talking to Brian, and then Brian would hang up with Steve and call John, and then John would say, "All right, hold on, let me call." It's the way it was. And then there's the biceps. Love you, Linda. Thank you so much, Sheila. I had a clear phone with all the pieces in different colors. I had to call my friends after 9 and then laugh loud. My mom then picked up the phone in the kitchen. Oh, my mom was constantly calling out the phone in the kitchen. Constantly. And she'd be like, "Okay, I'm going to hang up now." And she didn't hang up. Oh, thank you for sharing a gift membership, Stacy. Andrew Smith, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Long ass phone cord was crucial. But I remember I'm like, "Mom, you can hang up now. Mom, you can hang up now." And then you'd hear your voice echo in the background. So you knew mom hadn't hung up. And she'd be like, "Yes, honey, I hung up the phone." I'm like, "Mom, I can still hear you." "Oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake." Can hear you breathing, Mom. And then she'd finally hang up. Great show. Break is over. Got to get back to work. Yeah, we're about done too. Not going to lie, I am a huge fan of round numbers. Saw a couple more $2 going in. I'm like, well, we're at 87, only 13 away. I'm like, if I go a little longer, maybe we'll hit it. Mom and dad listen to your calls. My mom and dad listened to my calls, Andrew. They went through my bags. They went through my desk drawer. My mom looked under the mattress. My mom openly and honestly admits that she snooped like crazy. She once found a pack of Vivarin. No-Dos in my desk. And like, I came across a note in the kitchen and she had written the NODOZ and then was asking friends if they knew what it was because she thought I was on drugs. My parents were petrified. They only had a half hour of news every day to know what was going on. So they snooped. They snooped all the time and a lot. And I think that's good. There's my buddy Kryptonite Creations over on YouTube. That's the guy I was talking about, guys. Those of you on YouTube that see the I'm late, that is the guy. That is my buddy JC. That is the guy that made the hoverboard. That is the guy that made the Pitbull hoverboard. That is my man who, trigger warning, gifted me this. This is the sick bastard that made this and decided it would be a good idea to give it to me. So if you want nightmares with your memories, he's the guy you got to follow on YouTube. Glad you came on, JC. Love you, bro. Right back. Wirehead says, no, poor Artax. Why would I do that? Because I can. Oh, Facebook stars, I think. I have Odana to thank. 100 stars. Thank you so much, Odana. And then Kimmy just shared my screen, and Brian became a follower. Mark Thomas, a follower. Julie Coppers. Tina. Stan Crustalis. Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ, Stan. I'm assuming with Crustalis as a last name, you are Greek as well. Dude, $5. Thank you so much. $90.92. $10 away from the goal. If we get there, we get there. If we don't, we don't. All good. Carol, hello. Oh, Sarah, thank you so much. $4.99. Appreciate you. Thank you for sharing the membership. That was awesome. You guys are the best. You guys are the absolute best. But yeah, this is pretty cool though, right? Maybe I should just keep showing this as a threat. You know what I don't get? Here's what I don't get. Hear me out. This was like the Swamp of Sorrows kind of deal, right? So Artax got overcome by sadness. There we are. Rebecca just put us over the top. Stacy took us way over the top. Guys, thank you. Thank you. Matthew topping us off. You guys are the best. Thank you guys for getting us to our goal. But overcome by sadness. Lifelong friend. Absolute greatest pet, friend, best friend, the whole 9 yards. Goes down into the swamp and dies. Stays afloat. I don't get it. Why was died? Stays afloat, not sad. I thought that was a mistake in the memory. I just thought there was something wrong with that. If I saw my pet go down at that age in front of my eyes, I also would have sang. But anyway, oh, the amulet. See, that's why you guys are smarter than I am. The amulet. The amulet's what saved him. I've got one of those here somewhere too. JC made me an amulet as well. I just don't know where I put it. But anyway, the amulet. That makes sense now. The Taro compartmentalized. Fair. Yes, JC, I do have the amulet here. My desk is a mess. But I'll find it. All right, guys. So, housekeeping. Thank you, hey Tammy, so much for everything you guys do time and time again. Sharing my videos, liking my videos, commenting on my videos. The more you guys share, the more you comment, the bigger the page gets, the more we share our memories, the better we do. Now, the podcast, 3View Mirror, scheduled to come back second week in September. I will be live on YouTube Tuesday night at 7 p.m. with another rendition of Gen X Trivia Night. I do it every Tuesday live from the Hickory Tavern in Indian Land, South Carolina. Kristen, thank you so much. Show me how do you even know I have a tattoo? Ah, that's interesting. I don't think I've ever shown my tattoo on here. It's god awful. It's horrible. I got it when I was like 21. And it has not survived well. That's somebody who follows me and has looked carefully, I guess. At any rate, Tuesday, 7 p.m., Gen X Trivia. I flashed it once. Gotcha. That comment shouldn't just sit out there like that. You flashed it once. Could definitely have people thinking the wrong thing. And if I flashed it once for $2, well then. But yeah. 7 p.m., Gen X Era Trivia. Live if you happen to be near Charlotte at the Indian Land Hickory Tavern, 7 till about 8:30. The theme is always 70s, 80s, and 90s trivia. It's going to be about movies. It's going to be about music. It's going to be about TV, general pop culture. It's a lot of fun. And while I'm live with the guests that are there, I stream the whole thing on YouTube. Check it out. Also, 3View Mirror returns second week in September. Hopefully with a lot of really cool guests this year. Can Can I do it live, Warren? I'm going to give it a shot. Maybe I'll bring a second camera and do Facebook too. I've been thinking about it. It's just really tough, but I'll try. If not, you can see it on YouTube. Go Bills. Love you guys to death. Appreciate you guys, and I'm so glad that we're back. Sunday night, Wonderful World of Generation X. I'll see you back here next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you so much for exceeding our goal tonight. Love you guys. Peace out. I don't know how to turn it off. Yes, I do.